So Cass passed.
She passed. Our legal team is now legal.
That's fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. We knew that she would.
Yeah, it was definitely. It was funny because she called me. Well, apparently she started bawling, and then
because she's excited.
Yeah, and had to have her friend Mary call me. She was like, just put her phone on, and was like, "Someone call Trevor." So it was like, and it came out in like an hour early. So I was just working, and I was like, typing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
It
was supposed to come out at 12, so I was going to.
Oh, I thought it was supposed to come out at 1.
Yeah, that's what they said. And then, so that's what they had, kind of like what they always say. Mm-hmm. And then I guess one of the Supreme Court justices of Oklahoma was like, they'll be out at 12. And then, so it's probably about 11. Yeah, it's probably literally like 11:05, 11:10 or something. And I'm just like, typing some stuff up. And then I get a call and she's like, bawling. She's like, I passed. And I was like, all right, I got to stay on for like 20 more minutes and then I'll come up there.
That's cool.
But I was going to go up to be there when it was like red. And
right.
I was going to bring like creme brulee and flowers and stuff. So I just had to do it like after the fact. Yeah.
Flowers and creme brulee.
That's my favorite, man.
No, that's cool. That's cool. When I passed the CPA, I got cool, babe. So that was cool. It's cool that you wanted to bring up flowers and her favorite dessert.
My bad.
That's awesome. You weren't there when I passed. That was a previous relationship. That was my ex.
I thought when you got your CPA. Not when you passed.
No, when I got my CPA, it's not that big of a deal.
You're like, I finally have the paper now.
Right. I was like, I already passed the exams. Like, that's the hard part, not the...
He really was just like chilling, like, what was he, gaming and saying?
Yeah, he was gaming. He was like, cool, babe. Nick, where the fuck are you? Like, that's
He's one shot. He's one shot.
Right. I don't even know what he was playing, but I was like, that's yay.
You were like, yeah.
And then I watched the Golden Girls. What about you? How was did Jackie pass anything this week? No, really? Literally nothing?
Good.
What is going on in your life?
Nothing.
Well, you're planning a wedding, right?
Yeah, but I'm not doing the work, so.
Have you just heard in the background what Jackie's dealing with?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. So has she got a venue? Has she found a dress?
I think you should ask her that.
Okay.
They have a venue.
What are you... Thank you.
You're welcome.
What are you in charge of for the wedding? Are you in charge of
myself, pretty much.
Probably.
Make sure that I show up, and that's it.
They're dress shopping today.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, but I can't know about that.
Well, no, I know. But you can know when she's gotten one.
Well, she's on her third one, so.
Her third trip dress shopping?
Yeah.
Oh, God. No. See, I hate fucking dress shopping. I was like one and done. I went once, and I was like, that one.
You saw it. You were like, I look pretty good in it. I'm cool.
I tried on literally 3 dresses, and I was like, cool, this one. Because I just didn't. It was so fucking exhausting.
I mean, are there like a lot of different places to buy dresses right around here?
I don't know if there's a lot of different places. I just went to David's Bridal because, it made sense. There's probably other places that you can also go, but it's just the person, they always want to have you assigned with a salesperson. And so they always have this like crazy high energy and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Tell me how you met. So tell me like what you're going for. What's your vision? Have you already tried dresses? What do we like? What don't we like? And I'm like, Lila, this is too fucking much.
That's kind of how you're acting with me right now.
Because I actually give a fuck about you, okay. But like I know Lila don't give a fuck about me. I'm like,
that changes.
I can't. This is too much.
Trying to just
changes.
Sell you the,
right.
Expensive dress.
Right. And that's of course one of the questions that they like never asked me was, "What's your budget?" Until after I've already tried on the first dress, and I'm like, okay, so I don't know how much this is, but like this is what I'm looking to spend. And then they're like,
oh, that was 10 grand.
They just thought you with the rich face.
This is about twice your budget, and then they just look at you like you're gonna be like, oh, well, that's okay, and I'm just like, okay, take it off. Like that's not what I'm.
Zip me.
Right, I'm not going to fucking buy it. I had to pay for the whole wedding and my dress. Like I'm not fucking doing it.
Did you pay for your appointment, or were you walking?
Do you pay for appointments at David's Bridal?
Well, some places you do.
I know
because
it like
they offer like drinks and snacks while you're there, like for you and your party.
okay, well, I didn't go to any of those fucking places because I was hella cheap. I just went to David's Bridal, so no, I did not pay for an appointment.
Well, some places are free and they don't offer anything, but you still have to make an appointment just so you
Yeah.
can get the full experience.
Yeah. No, I walked in and they were like, so are you shopping for a bridesmaid or for a bridal dress? And I said bridal gown. And then they were like, okay, so we're going to assign you this salesperson. And I was like, no, I just want to like walk around by myself and try some
you
on by
can't do that.
myself. And they were like, no, we don't let you do that. And I was like, why the fuck not?
Because they have to hold your hand through the whole thing so they could try to upsell.
That's
you.
so annoying to me. It was
I feel like you
so
should be-
annoying.
You should be able to just walk in and be like, I like that dress. Can I try it on? They could be like, okay, here. Like,
You can after you get a salesperson.
yeah. Could you imagine if other stores did that? Like you had to have, you're in fucking Walmart and they're like, you have to have a sales associate walk you by. And you're like, I don't even know what I want. I'm kind of just wandering.
And there are some stores, I mean, they're obviously the high-end stores that are legitimately like that. Have you guys ever been to Von Mar? It's in the mall. Yes, you've been to Von Mar.
But a lot of times they leave me alone because then I'll be like, oh, I want that, but I also want that. And I don't want that anymore. And they're like, we don't know what you want. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks.
You're like,
That's
And they just leave me alone. I'm like,
That's the way to play it. Von Mar, and I've never been there, so I don't even know I don't know how expensive the
Is it like fancy
merchandise is, but I was hired to work there. And they told me when they were opening the new one in the mall, and they told me, okay, so your job is to, when you see a customer come in, you follow them, you introduce yourself, like you make a connection with that person. If at all possible, you get their cell phone number or an email address, so that way you can follow up with them. And then when you follow them through the store and you talk about what they want and what they're looking for, after they pick out the item they want, you're supposed to, oh, you know what would look really good with that? Maybe this item. And you're supposed to
try to get a whole outfit sold, basically.
Right. And it was just, I remember them telling all of this to me after I was hired, because I was just applying for a regular sales associate, and they did pay more than the retail place I was working at the time. But it's because they want you to do like all of that stuff, obviously. Yeah. And I remember listening to that and I was like, this is not what I want to do. This is not my life.
It makes sense though if you want. Like a lot of older people would shop there. So you want to make a connection because those older people buy gifts for grandkids.
Yeah, they'll be coming back.
So you want to become more personal with them. So when they go back, they're like,
yeah, no,
like
for sure. It's just
person.
a miserable life that I don't want to be a part of. But yeah, it makes sense.
I just tell them to skip the email. Every time they ask, I'm like, oh, I'm going to skip that. And I'm like, oh.
Right, because you can't force them. But I was just like, I don't want to be in a position where I have to ask everybody's phone number. I have to ask for their email. I have
you know what would look great with that sweater? There's this skirt over here, and then there's these shoes. Can I get your email? Can I get your phone number? Like,
right.
It just seems like.
And they also had the same people. So at the retail place that I was working at, we had a freight unloading crew and then we had a sales crew. And the freight unloading crew, you obviously got to come in jeans and a t-shirt because you're literally unloading freight. And then when the truck is empty, you leave. At Von Mar, it was the same staff that was unloading the trucks and trying to sell the merchandise. And I said, okay, so do we just bring a change of clothes on those days? And they said, no. You are supposed to you're supposed to unload the truck and then
get on the
floor in the same outfit. But they wanted you, for women, you had to wear stockings. You had to wear pantyhose. And I said, okay, so what if a corner of a box like rips a hole or something in my pantyhose, because those are so easy to rip.
Yeah.
And they said, well, that's fine. You can just buy a set that we sell with your employee discount of 10%. And I was like, what the fuck? No.
Just buy them and keep them there.
No.
Just switch them out.
That's just terrible. I
or
was like,
steal them.
No. I just don't want to live that life. And
but they pay
I
more.
shouldn't have to. It was not that much more.
They're like, we paid 50 cents more.
I mean, literally, it was maybe 75 cents more.
Oh,
maybe.
Man, that's not worth it.
Maybe. It wasn't even a full $1. And I was like, this is crazy. And I would be manager. That's the title I was coming in. I was only going to make 75 cents more. And they were like, so your responsibility as manager is your department has to make this level of sales. If they don't, you're going to be penalized. you have to make this many personal contacts with the phone numbers of customers that your sales employees give you. You have to then call the customers and see
I'm
how
getting
they're
people
doing.
fired.
Yeah,
You
dude, I
have
was like, it sounds like you're running they're running a telemarketing scheme.
seriously. And they were like, you also have to send out emails. If you don't have phone numbers, you have to send out so many emails and you need to get responses. And I was like, what the fuck? No, I'm not working here.
Yeah, that's like
I'm not working here.
sales generator. Like,
That's literally what it is.
Yeah.
And I've never wanted to be a salesperson. I've never wanted to be
They're
a
fighting
salesperson.
against Amazon, so
I remember my old boss.
It's not working.
no, apparently.
or our old boss, when I quit to actually come do accounting and whatnot, he was like, I just don't think someone with your social skills should just be stuck behind a computer. And I was like,
I
don't
hate
think
that.
it-
I
it
hate being
matters.
told that.
Yeah, I was like, who cares if I'm personable? I don't want to have to talk to people.
I don't
at
want to
work.
be a fucking salesperson.
Yeah, like I don't want to do it. I'd rather just be like, someone sends me an email, I got to do some like research or something. I can reply and be like, here's my answer, and then it's done.
Right.
Yeah.
That was definitely, I heard that a lot at my last workplace. It was like, man, I don't know. You say you don't want to be in sales, but you're so personable, and all of our customers that talk to you like you. And I'm like, because I'm not trying to sell them shit.
Yeah, you're like,
and
I'm
I
just
don't
being
want
cool.
to. Right. I'm just fucking being me.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Made me angry.
You know where that might be kind of useful for some people would be a place like Home Depot or something, you know? Because a lot of people will go in there and they'll be like, I kind of don't know what I need. But like if you had like a little handyman at the front, he's like, do you need...
That could be genuinely helpful.
That's what I'm saying. But like, I feel like it should be like an option. You know what I mean? Because like at every store they have to go, do you need any help? And then if
Yeah.
you say no, they should fuck off.
Yeah.
And if you say yeah, but like at, at a place like a Home Depot, that would be super helpful, especially for a lot of people who don't really like, oh, this happened in my house. Because that's usually what happens. Like, especially when I was working in paint, it was literally like me, one other college level kid, and then everyone else was retired and like working at Home Depot. Maybe like one or two of them was like before retirement. But a lot of the older guys, they would just be like, oh, what are you doing? You're painting a house? Oh, you got a new baby coming? You doing this? You doing that? Oh, well, let me go show you this. And they would just be like, hey, you good? And be like, yeah, it's paint. Like people will line up and I'll be like, what do you need? But yeah, then they would leave. They'd go to the other parts of the store, literally walk them through the whole thing, and help them with like all these other projects, and just do that.
Yeah. I definitely think that would be useful in like a Home Depot, a Lowe's, or a
Ace Hardware.
I was going to say any type of specialty store. That would be super helpful.
But like fancy clothes.
Right? Like, you know what the fuck you want.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
also
know.
if you don't, you would
Then you
ask
will
for help.
ask.
You know what I
Yes,
mean? Yeah.
yes.
Hey, I don't know what tie goes with this shirt or blah 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 blah. You would ask for help. You don't need to like have someone helicopter over you the whole time.
Well, you also don't want people to steal.
Yeah, but you can keep an eye on people.
Then
without
have
being
a
like,
loss
"Hi, what's your
prevention
name?"
department.
Yeah, dude, Ross just has a security guard stand in the front.
Right.
Yeah, but
That's,
I've never
they're
seen them
not-
do anything.
They're not paying me
I don't
to be
think they
loss
work.
prevention. No, I'm not
But
doing
you're not.
that.
It's easier than that. You just have a set of eyes on them.
Did you guys see? There's like a video of these guys, and they.
Why are you always for the corporations and for fucking capitalism? What is your deal?
I'm not. It's just it makes sense when they give you a position and they ask you to like do certain requirements.
Okay.
It
So
just
you
makes
think the
sense to
Von
me.
Mar, you were like, yeah, no, that totally makes sense. If I was offered,
Yeah.
if I was offered 15, no, it was $12. Sorry. If I was offered $12 an hour, I definitely work there.
Well,
And I
not
would
me. It's
meet
not.
all
It's not
the
a job for me. But
Okay, so
anybody
then
else
just
can.
let me say it's not a job for me. Stop being like, okay, but you know it actually makes sense. No, shut the fuck up. It doesn't for me.
No. Okay.
Okay, what's up?
I forgot what I was saying.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. It's just okay. That was
I
funny.
feel like what were you saying?
It's talking about helpers at places and stuff.
No, I feel like you said one time.
No, it's gone.
Ben, do you remember?
Remember what?
Were you even fucking paying attention?
He's watching video.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No, he's reading some fucking probably D&D rule, some new thing that's being released or something.
Well, yeah, they're changing like a lot of stuff on that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I've heard about
just
it
like you
from
say.
Ben.
I think it'll be really fun. Did you go to church camp as a kid?
Yes, and I was wondering if either of you did.
Fuck no.
No, I didn't get invited.
But didn't you grow up religious?
No. I went to church for like a year, but that was about it.
What year?
Like when I was, I think going like to 6th, 7th grade. But I went
With
by
your
myself.
family?
No, I went by myself. That was the problem. Like my parents didn't go with me, so I'd go by myself. And
How would you get there?
Like an aunt would take me or something.
Oh, okay. So you went with other family.
Yeah, but
just
like
your
it was just
parents.
weird because they'd be like, "Hold your kids," and I was like, "That's just me." Like I just stand there by myself. So then after a year, I was like, "I'm leaving. I don't care."
What made you want to go?
They just invited me. Like my aunts invited me, and I was like, "I'll go." But then after a year, I was like, "This is I don't know. It's not for me."
Okay. Did you
grow-
ever go to church?
I've
Like
been to
as a
church.
kid?
No. I have been at, so my mom grew up Catholic and my dad grew up Christian.
Okay.
So then when they had us, they said, fuck it. We went to like a Christian preschool, like at one of the places. But I've been to church, I think, legitimately 5 times. Once when I was a kid, because if my friend brought me, and it was more like a church daycare thing, because we were in like kindergarten or first grade or something. But he brought me because if he brought me, we would both get a candy bar. Yeah.
That's dope.
Full size candy bar too. Yeah.
That's
so we
dope.
did that, and then again he invited me. He like switched churches or something. Or there was something going on at another one, and he invited me just for their like. They were doing like a little like the Church Olympics thing. So they had all these sporting events. Literally
Wow.
had never been to that church with him. Had never but he was like, we are missing a kid on our team for whatever X events, and I was like, I got you. And then I never went
Is
to
that
church.
like elementary school, middle school?
Yeah, I was probably like 8 or 9
Okay,
at that point.
okay.
So the first one was probably like I was like 5 or 6. And then
Okay.
I was like 8 or 9, maybe 10. And then I literally didn't go until I met Cass and we were like back for Christmas. And then you do like the Christmas stuff. And I've gone to that like I think like we did 2. The first year we went with her family for Christmas, we did like 2 like I don't know what they're called, masses, ceremonies, whatever.
Yeah.
And then like the last time that we went to 1. So it's like I think it's
But it was a regular mass.
that
not
was a
Christmas.
regular like the regular mass. So legitimately I've been to church like 5 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And 3 of those times is like a
3 of those
pretty
times were-
Catholic, like a Catholic
Yeah, it was
church.
Catholic.
So that's
Get
kind
up, kneel, pray, do this, do that, all that type of stuff.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. And then I do remember, oh man, this isn't really like, I guess there's like a Catholic church song because at my grandma's funeral, I was, God, how old was I? Probably like 12, 13 maybe. And in the song they used gay as like happy. And
Right.
my dad freaking nudges me and I started cracking up. And I'm like, dude, we're at my grandma's funeral.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it was really fun. That's the extent of my church goings.
Dad.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I did go to church camp. There was, gosh, I didn't think that I would really be the most like churched kid here. I don't know why I really was banking on one, like religiously going to services every week.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's a kind of like a Mexican Catholic thing, right? The idea probably kind of was what you
Well,
had.
and
It
I
wasn't
just
even
thought-
Catholic. It was Christian.
I thought I had
Apostolic. Really.
I thought I had heard him mention it before, and just like some of the things that he believes in, I'm like, oh, okay, so he's
Yeah.
probably pretty religious. I don't know why. I thought that. I mean, we went to church every.
we didn't ask you. Hey, did you go to church?
We went to church. I went to church every Sunday from like middle school, so like 6th grade up until maybe 9th or 10th grade, like for a long time. And then my mom would keep going and she'd be like, hey, you guys should come with me. But then like we wouldn't want to. And I also remember I only remember this happening once, but we did something. I think like my sister and I were just happy to be home from church. Like we were really excited. And my mom, that kind of annoyed her because she was thinking like we weren't getting out of it what we should be getting. And so she was like, if you guys don't stop, I'm going to make you watch Passion of the Christ. And I was terrified because I knew it was going to show blood. It was going to show like someone being tortured. It was going to show murder. Like
Yeah.
I did not want to watch a scary movie. And to me, that was a scary movie. And so I remember like just being very good and being like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, because I did not want to watch Passion of the Christ. And to this day, I haven't watched it because I don't have any interest in it.
So then in that time you would go to church camp?
Yeah, so we went to church camp. We went to I don't even remember what it was called. We went to Trinity Baptist Church is the like longest span of time we went to a church for. And then I guess a little bit in high school, then we went to Life Church. But when I went to church camp, it was when I was at Trinity. And they called it something, not Life Camp, but they basically called it something camp. And you went for a week, and I was super disappointed because no sexual acts were performed on me or offered to me by a counselor or any of
that happens at band camp.
the hot camp
That's
guys.
the wrong camp.
Right. So I was expecting.
Yeah, that's just normal summer camp.
But do you know how many horror stories you hear about? Like, oh my God, at church camp, we had like my first gay orgy. Like, I know people that have had those experiences. And so I was like, this is it.
You're like, this
I'm going to
is
go
it
to
for me.
church camp and I'm going to like
I'm
sexually
getting laid.
realize myself. And nothing happened except that I had to get up every goddamn morning at 6 a.m.
Oh.
We had to go to church.
Yeah.
And then we would do activities. And then we'd have lunch. And then you go to church.
Yeah.
And then we'd do more activities. And then we'd have dinner. And then you go to church. I was fucking pissed. I was so angry. However, I will say that was, I think they just called it church life. I think maybe that's what they called it. But that was the first time I felt like comfortable enough with a group of strangers to talk to them about my history of like being molested. And so that was kind of good for me because I'd never experienced that before. I also thought maybe it would like give
Quite the opposite direction. from
it
what
would
you
give
expect.
somebody else ideas like, okay, so she's like open, like, but nothing happened.
I think you scared them away at that point.
Nothing happened.
Yeah, they're probably like, I don't want to hurt her
Catch a
more.
case or something.
Yeah. She's got this past of all this stuff. Stay away from her because she's definitely going to be like, let everybody
She's already
know back
broken.
home.
Yes, and I definitely have syphilis at this point. Like
Yeah.
you just know something's going on with me. And I was voted most outstanding camper, which I don't know how that happened. I didn't know it was an award, and the woman that gave it to me, because in each of our cabins we had like a sponsor, which was an adult that would be in charge of you, and it was a woman. So I was like, oh, okay. But she was like, this person was just very clean. This person was very prompt at all of the functions, which no, I wasn't, because there was one day whenever I begged her to not go to church at 6 a.m. because I have very bad allergies and my eyes constantly water. And one thing that really aggravates that is when I don't have enough sleep. And when you are keeping children up until 11:30 or midnight, and then you're making them get up at 6 a.m., that's really not enough sleep. Even though it's only for a week, it's not enough sleep.
That's more than I get right now.
I'm aware, but you're an adult. You make that decision. I was
Even
a
as a
child.
kid, though.
I was a child. That's not the decision I wanted to make. I should be allowed to make my own decisions. And
You're like, you ready for midnight mass? You're like, I'm going to bed.
right. And so I begged her. It was like day 4 or 5 into the camp, so it was pretty late into the camp. And I was like, I'm just having such a problem with my eyes watering, but I know if you let me sleep for just like 2 more hours, I'll sleep through breakfast. I don't need to eat. Just please, this will make my eyes better. And she was like, okay, fine. And she let me sleep. And then when I woke up, my eyes were completely dry.
Yeah.
Like it was so awesome. I was like, oh, thank you so much for listening to me. But so she was always prompt to the activities. I wasn't. And she was always such a team player. I don't know what I was a team player in. I think maybe she just felt bad that I was molested. So she was like, outstanding camper award. And you know what the award was? It was a plunger, a new plunger, not a used one. I know that's where the fuck you were going because you just like to poke holes in all the beautiful things.
It's last year's camp plunger.
Right. It was a new plunger, which she decorated in like with
Rhinestones?
markers. No. She just wrote on it. Like on the plunger itself, it said outstanding camper.
Tell me you still have it.
I I think I do. I think I do. Just like for sentimental reasons, it's one of the few things I've won. So I'm like, yeah, I did this. And then she wrote along like the wood piece of it. She's like, "You're amazing, outstanding camper award. Wow, you're awesome." And then they also gave me, and this was like not, so you had the group that you stayed with in the cabin, and then you had a group that you would go with, like a prayer group, and you would talk about what they talked about in church. You would elaborate on it a little more, explain what you got from it. And in that group, that's the group where I talked about like
you opened up.
Yeah, I opened up for the first time. And that group was also the leader of that group, because there was always one adult in every group. The adult of that group was also the adult of my cabin leader. So I also felt kind of comfortable with her because I spent like the whole time with her. So she gives me the Outstanding Camper Award, and then we go for our last prayer group meeting. And then she's like, okay, this is something that I just kind of give to a student whenever I feel like they've really made a breakthrough or they've really made like an impact with themselves. And so this year we all agree we want to give it to Haylie. And she brought out she would make stuffed animals, and then she would sew like patches onto the animals. So it's like got a lot of bright colors and it's a lot of different fabrics or whatever. And so she was like, it was an owl and it was super cute. And she was like, so, and that I do still have.
Yeah.
And she said, so this is this. And we just, anytime that you feel lost or anytime you feel scared, I just want you to hold this. And I want you to think about, that we all love you and we support you. And I was like, wow, this is not at all the experience I was hoping to get out of camp.
I love how this started off with you being like, I was disappointed because there was no orgies. I
know.
didn't get laid. And then you're like, but I actually was able to open up a lot about my, past.
I know. It was good.
It helped me heal a lot. I was looking for more trauma maybe. But
it was honestly what people probably hope children get out of church camp is what I got. And I was disappointed by it. I was like, well, this is just personal growth. I'm fucking annoyed at this shit. And there's also one of the girls that was at church camp went to school with me, and we had kind of a history. She hated me. I don't know why, but she wrote me a very mean letter in like
after church camp?
7th grade. No. This is before. She wrote me a letter in like 6th or 7th grade where she called me a slut. She said that I was a whore. She called me a bitch. She told me to go kill myself.
Damn.
And my mom...
She had a good dictionary.
My mom held on to the letter. My mom kept it. My mom, she's a fucking sadistic bitch, and I love it. I love it. When she's on your side, like, you will win. But, so during one of the church sermons at church camp, after she's given me the letter, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know what to do with it. And we just stopped talking. There was I don't even remember what the sermon was about, but it was probably about like guilt or forgiveness or, just trying to be a better person. And I remember really thinking about the relationship I had with the person that molested me. And I'm like, yeah, I need to reconcile with this. I need to try to move on and I need to try to grow. And out of fucking nowhere, this bitch comes over and starts hugging me. The woman that wrote the girl that wrote the shitty note. And I was just like, what are you doing? And she was like crying and she was like, I'm so sorry. I just want us to be friends because I love you and I miss you. And I was like, I don't know your middle name. I could not give less fucks about you. But okay. And so I like hugged her back, and then she like stood next to me for the entire rest of the camp. And I was like, this is fucking weird.
That's cool.
You also told me to kill myself too.
Right. Right. I'm like, you're fucking forcing this. And then of course, after that, did we ever talk? Were we ever best friends? No. She just did it for fucking show. Yeah. I was like, this is why I hate church people. Rumors that were going around the school were that she, and I know this is most definitely not true. It'd be fantastic if it was.
True. We'll go with
it is true.
Yeah. The rumors that were going around the school were that she wouldn't have sex, obviously because she's a Christian, but she would, which she does now, but she would do oral. And she liked oral to be done on her. Good for you. pro women, but she would put peanut butter and marshmallow fluff and stuff down there on her vagina, and she would like to have men lick it out. And so there was a couple guys that had said when they were down there, they definitely saw like ants in her underwear. There were ants on her bedside table where she kept all of her like
Where
sex
she kept
stuff.
all of her peanut butter.
Right. And I was like,
Was it crunchy?
Okay, take your dirty pussy and your clean conscience and have a
what's
good
it called
life.
when you let like meat sit overnight in like a bag or something with
Marinate.
Yeah, she marinated on there or something.
Marinated her pussy with Jiffy.
Yes. And I was like, marshmallow fluff, that shit's fucking sticky.
I mean, at least it didn't expire, right?
Does
Peanut
it?
butter.
Peanut butter will last for a while.
Yeah, it does.
That's a-
But
So
what
it wouldn't
about
it wouldn't go bad if they didn't, do a good job down there.
Or if she had like multiple meetups, she's like, hold on, leave some there because Brendan's coming
For the
later.
guy.
Hold up, I'm out of peanut
The guy
butter.
after
Can you
you.
leave a little bit for her?
Yeah, but so that's
I think she
just-
should have just done it from the get go.
Dude, I couldn't imagine that.
That's
being
what
like,
I got from
man,
church.
This lady, she's like, hey, come over. My parents aren't home. I'm all excited. Then she's like, can you pick up some peanut butter? And I'm like, all right, sure, whatever. So this lady needs peanut butter or something, And then you get there and she just fucking takes a knife and just.
You would not be thinking anything sexual with peanut butter?
No. My
Right.
first thing, if
That's-
anything
but
sexual, I would think she wants me to put my dick in the peanut butter and then the other way around.
Right?
Yeah.
But now if she says like, hey, pick up some whipped cream, then you're like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because whipped cream is
Yeah,
fine.
you got some connotations.
It's
If you
not
say
that-
whipped cream, nobody's home. But if you say peanut butter, I'm like, oh, this bitch just needs groceries.
Because it's so thick and it's so
Like I would probably be like, do you need anything else? And she'd be like, no. What do you like? What? And I'd be
you
like,
need
I don't
jelly?
know, milk or
Do you
eggs
need-
or what?
Do you need bread? Are we
Yeah.
making sandwiches? Like,
You're only making me a PB and J.
yeah, that's what I got from church camp.
That is the fucking wildest church camp story I think I've ever heard.
Really? I feel like I know so many other people that had like these
I've only heard
sexual
good things.
I was gonna say,
experience.
That they're
think
fun.
I think it's like
I'm
crazy,
sure
not
it was
necessarily in the fact of like what was done, but just all the stories that just came out of that church camp thing.
Right.
Did you guys have science camp in like middle school?
If we did, I didn't go.
Did
I don't
you
think
guys
so.
have- See, we had like science camp, and you could, you would go. It'd be kind of like basically church camp, but science. You'd go do a bunch of science stuff up in the forest or whatever. I don't remember what it was. Me and
Oh,
my brother
shit,
didn't go,
that's
but my
cool.
sister went. And the reason that I didn't go was because everybody was like, dude, the best week of school is when everybody's gone at science camp, because most of the kids will go. And then so some of the teachers will go. So for that week, there's only in your grade enough students to fit in one classroom.
That's
and
cool.
You don't do jack shit.
Yeah,
that
no,
week.
that would be fucking cool.
We just played games, and they literally would be like there. I remember there was a day where like we got in the classroom, and they were like, "Well, you guys have to be in here till lunch." So sure. And then it was like 10 a.m. and they're like, "Yeah, you guys can just go outside. We'll just have the rest of the day outside." So it was like 8 hours just like chilling, or not 8, but like 5-6 hours just chilling in the on the playground or like in the grounds of the school doing
That
whatever,
would be
hanging out
cool.
with friends. Yeah, and all of my friends, or at least a majority of them, were like, "Nah, fuck that, we're staying." So it was awesome because
Right.
then my whole friend group stayed, and I was just like, "Yeah, we're just kind of hanging out this week." This is
No,
great."
that's the way.
Yeah.
That's the thing to do.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, it was cool.
See, I had the same kind of mindset. First of all, I didn't know that science camp took place during school. That's cool. I thought it was like a summer thing. So no, my school didn't have anything cool like that. But whenever we had like senior skip day, those would be the days when I wouldn't skip and I would go to school because I was the only one in class. And so like, what are they going to do? Are they going to teach me a whole lesson? They're not,
Yeah.
because 90% of the class is gone. So they'd be like, did you know it was senior skip day? And I'd be like, yeah.
Man, I feel bad.
And they're like, okay, well, I guess just read. And I'm like, okay, cool.
You're like, awesome, thank you.
Yeah, it's great.
Our school tried to they started doing this thing kind of like, I think it was like right after my like brother had graduated. All the schools in Tracy started doing like, instead of like basically to try to get around senior ditch day, they would just give the seniors, it was like a senior beach day, and they just let the seniors go hang out by the pool all day. And they
That's
provided like
cool.
food and stuff like that, because they were like, don't ditch, just we'll give you stuff that you were going to do anyways.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Except for drugs and alcohol,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah,
what they
pretty
don't
much.
want students to do.
Yeah. But I ran around that day because like they let us in the pool. I was probably one of like maybe 8 people who actually got in the pool. But I was like, dude, it's summertime. I'm in the pool.
That's so cool.
And I got in my Speedo because it was water polo, and they couldn't say anything because technically that's a school uniform.
Right.
So then I
That's
walked
so
around.
terrible.
So then I walked around the lunchroom, like just saying what's up to people like that. And I even like was like walked up to one of the teachers, like, Mr. Tiffany, and he literally just like turned around. And he goes, nope. And he like started walking the other way.
Oh my God.
But they literally would just everybody was like, well, we can't, especially because like cheerleaders all year would be in their outfit, and I was.
Yep.
I think I remember one time someone was like, hey, you can't wear that, and I was like, this is my water polo uniform. I could go get
You said it so serious.
and I literally I remember going, I could go get the cap if I need to complete it. And then after that they were like, oh, we can't do anything.
You know, I bet if you'd gone to whoever's college professor that like didn't start class until you got there,
Oh,
if you went
yeah,
into
yeah.
his
My
room in a
finance teacher.
Speedo,
Bruh.
man, I bet you would have had those church camp memories I missed out on. I bet that would have happened.
I don't remember his name either.
It's probably for the best that we don't say it.
It's okay. I know what he taught. He taught finance. You can bleep that out if you want to. There's probably a bunch of different.
Well, we didn't say what school you went to.
That's true.
So you just had a finance professor in college.
Yeah, who was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's fine.
I didn't say any names either. I'm proud of myself.
You said name.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you talked about her peanut butter pussy.
Oh, yeah. No, I totally did. I'm going to bleep out her name, but I feel like the story.
Yeah,
People
keep
might
the
know.
story in.
Yeah, people might know who.
Oh,
it is.
people at your high school will be like, oh, well.
They'll be like, oh my gosh, she's having.
Or someone's gonna be like, "Oh, that's why it smelled like peanut butter." I sat
Yeah,
next to
or
her.
someone's just going to be like, oh my God, I think I went down on that bitch.
Oh,
Like,
he's like, oh, was that why it was so sweet? Marshmallow fluff?
and marshmallow fluff is so sticky, and I feel like you can't get it out of
Dude,
crevices.
I feel like she would have to
I don't-
literally like.
That's why I was still in.
That's why I don't think I really don't think that's true. I also don't think it was true because there were rumors going around about me sexually that were not true.
Like what?
And when you hear them, they're almost as stupid as
the
peanut butter.
pussy?
And yes,
Yeah.
yes. So apparently the rumors that were going around about me, and I only heard them from one person who was a friend that said, well, I just feel like you need to know what's being said about you. And I'm like, okay.
You're like, I don't, but whatever.
Right. And she said that these things were being said by my ex-boyfriend singular, because I didn't date a whole lot of guys in high school. And so like it's not even like people were like, oh man, I was gonna fuck that girl, but then I heard this story and now I'm not. No one was fucking
But then
me
I heard
ever.
she had Vegemite vag, and I got out of there.
Right. No one was fucking me ever. It was fine. I didn't give a shit. But apparently the rumor that was going around was that I was super into role play during sex, which I'm like, okay, role play's fine.
That's way better than
don't
a
shame.
fucking peanut
Nah, it
butter
gets worse.
pussy.
No, it gets worse.
when I wasn't there.
It gets worse. Role play's fine. Don't shame.
Yeah, no.
Everybody has their things.
Yeah.
Role
that's,
play is
that's
fun.
fine. I just said it was better than the peanut butter.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But then I guess he went on further because one year for Halloween we did have a joint costume. We were Alice in Wonderland. I was Alice and he was the Mad Hatter.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, if either one of us was going to be,
Bless you.
thank you.
A cough.
If either one of us was going to be into role play based on that Halloween costume, I wore an outfit. He wore an outfit, wig, face makeup. I didn't even get a blonde wig. I just kept my brown hair. Like, I wasn't that into it.
Yeah.
So already, if one of us is going to be more into role play, seems like maybe him. But I digress. Apparently, we would role play Alice in Wonderland during our sex. And
It's not even that weird.
and I would want him to pretend to be the white rabbit, and I would put carrots in my vagina, and I wanted him to eat carrots out of my vagina.
Dude, what's up with your school and just people putting food in?
What is that? Like, every rumor has to be food related into the pussy.
It was
I
a
don't,
trend, I
I don't understand. Like, could we not come up with anything slightly more believable? Like, dude, I think she gave him chlamydia. Like,
Yeah.
that's believable.
Yeah, or like he put corn in his butt, something like that. You know.
It's still food.
I know, but like that's more believable than you're sticking carrots or peanut butter up your pussy.
Right. And I'm like, just angling myself so he can eat carrots out of my pussy. What?
Corn, rib for his pleasure.
Yes. Yes. Honestly, it probably is more so than carrots. But I thought that was really fun.
Did you ever figure out were they like the little baby carrots, or are they talking like the legit?
See, I always imagined baby carrots, but I never asked. But I always imagined I was just sticking a baby carrot like halfway in,
Yeah.
and then they'd be
And
like,
you're like, yeah, get it. Nibble.
What if you put it
Yeah.
like hot dog style?
"Oh, see, I wasn't imagining it hot dog style at all." And that would probably
That's
be
what I was thinking.
that would be more pleasurable because then he'd be licking around like
Exactly.
the good spots. I was just imagining literally a carrot sticking out of my vag,
That's what I was picturing.
and he just.
Yeah, I pictured him down there, and you're like, yeah, fucking.
And I'm like, like I don't know how that
You're like,
is
yeah,
hot.
go down that rabbit hole.
Right. I have no idea how that's hot. But you can tell. You
You say
tell,
you have no idea how that's hot, and there's literally like a fucking whole group of people called furries.
I know. I'm not shaming.
Yeah.
I'm not shaming. It's not my thing particularly.
Dude,
but you
during-
can tell when teenagers don't know shit about sex based on their fucking rumors
During-
about it.
During Cass's
I guess that's true.
graduation from undergrad, we're like walking around downtown, going to like a restaurant and like whatever. Blah, blah, blah. The same day that she graduated, there was a furry convention. So like as like people are walking around downtown in like suits and like dresses because they just graduated college, there's also people in full furry outfit going and just like walking around and hanging out and whatnot. It was so funny.
That's amazing.
It was awesome.
That's amazing. My ex had a friend, and I won't say his name because he was a very sweet guy.
Just you say everybody's name. We'll bleep it.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so his name was,
Yeah.
and he was very like Juan, but thin. Like Juan is kind of muscular.
I'm pretty thin.
I know, but you're also very toned. Like you
Oh,
clearly work out. He didn't work out. He was just very, very
Like,
skinny.
He was
Skin
scrawny.
and bone.
yeah,
That's what they
yeah,
call it. Scrawny.
yeah. And he had like long dark hair, and he was very pale, and he just kind of stayed in his room a lot. He was
Man, you had a girlfriend.
he was a little socially awkward, and I guess he was into he was
Some
in
kind of food?
He was into furry, and he was into bestiality.
Oh.
That's what I was told. Of course, I never like talked to him about it or anything, but a couple of his friends, because we were all in the same friend group, a couple of his friends would tell me like, no, I've seen some of the porn that he watches, and it's pretty like he'll try to open up and be like, yeah, this is the porn I watch, I think, to see if anybody else is into it, but then they're like, this is gross,
Like,
please
what the
turn it
fuck,
off.
guy?
But
He's like, no, it was a joke.
right.
thought
But
it
it was
was funny.
always, I will say, I asked them if the bestiality was ever in real life or if it was animated, and the bestiality was always animated. So I don't know if he was
He's like a hentai type.
right. So I don't think he was into like hurting animals or anything, but he had a dragon dildo, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. What's it's like, I don't know, the size of a dragon's dick. I don't know what's happening.
Was it purple?
And
Dragon's tail.
And they were like, no, it's literally like the head of it is a dragon with like teeth and horns and everything. And then it's got its neck, and he will put it in up to the body of the dragon. He puts it in his asshole because that's what he's into. And I was like, are we sure he's not just gay? And he's so like, I can't be gay, that he's making
can't
it
be gay.
into
It's
all of
just
these
a
other
dragon.
things. It was.
He's like, I can't be gay. I just love Eastern culture.
And of course, I was like, you guys are probably just exaggerating. But when we went to his house one time because his parents, he still lived with his parents,
Yeah.
and his parents got a new puppy. And so I wanted to go play with the puppy. And so we were there with a few other people, and fucking one of our asshole friends was like, Haley, come here. Let me show you. You think I'm fucking exaggerating. Come here. So I was like,
Was it in a showcase?
so that's the thing.
say, he's
I
got
said,
a stack.
I was like, I'm not going to go through his drawers, and I'm not going to look through his stuff. And he was
It's
like,
big. I don't think you can miss it.
He was like, you don't. He leaves it on his nightstand. And I was
gonna
like,
say, yeah.
what? And yeah, as soon as he opened the door, it's right there on the nightstand. And I was like, what the fuck? And I put my arm next to it, and it was literally my elbow to about here in length.
And he's
and
doing
he
half of that
he
in
said
his
he
fucking-
would shove at least down to probably here.
Damn.
In his butt. Like, he's got to have rectal problems now, right?
Probably.
No, it just comes out straight.
Yeah.
So he has to wear a diaper constantly.
I don't know. Maybe he don't eat or something. That's why he's so scrawny.
Maybe.
Could be.
That's the most like
That's
woo crazy sexual person I know, which is not even that crazy. I know a lot of people are into that, but I was like,
Well, I think
I'm worried
well,
for
it's at
you.
the time too. Didn't
I'm
you say you were in
worried
like
for you.
high school?
No, I mean, basically, this is when I was going to college, so I was like 19, 20.
Oh, okay.
But I was worried about him, like his health.
Yeah.
I don't want him to puncture his colon because that can happen.
Yeah.
Especially
You could hurt
like
yourself.
there were horns.
Well,
They weren't pointed. They were rounded, but they're still sticking out.
clearly a professional. That's why he has it.
You're right. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't assume that he doesn't know what he's doing. He's obviously used to it.
I mean, if he's putting fucking half a forearm in his butthole, yeah, he's probably used to it. That's not something that you just
But how old do you think he was to start that? Like if he's 19 and he's at half a dragon dildo,
I don't know.
do we
18.
think he started
If he's 18, he's doing it daily.
right? If that's when he started, I feel like he probably. That's why I feel part of me is still to this day. I'm like, I feel like maybe you're just gay and you don't know how to.
How to accept it? He's like, it's
Right.
just a dragon.
Right. Of course, I've never said that to him because I don't want to try to define other people's sexuality.
Well, if he watches this, he'll know exactly.
Well, when
who
you
he
broke
is.
up with him, you should have told him.
I didn't date him,
What
asshole.
that's what we said.
No, he was my partner's friend.
Oh,
We were
I
all
heard-
in the same friend group. Yeah, no, I didn't
Oh,
date
so it was
him.
an orgy.
I
You could have
never-
started with that.
The whole time that I was with my ex and we were together for like 8 years, I never saw him have a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Like he was never
he,
with
had,
anybody.
he had his toy. I don't think you need more than that.
Yeah, he's got freaking Mushu over there.
Spyro. He had Spyro. It was
I
purple,
love
right?
Spyro. It was purple.
Yeah. He had
It
Spyro.
was purple. And I was expecting it to be black. I don't know why.
No, I don't know.
I expected it to be red. I think I was thinking like
Ooh.
your stereotypical like
Yeah.
Chinese like a dragon that
Yep.
they have.
Red could be a thing.
Maybe it
was,
came from China too. So
It was
that-
purple. It was like
makes sense.
everything.
it was like the purple galaxy type look. So it had like
Like a
stars and
Well,
glitter.
it
and
went up
stuff
to
in
the
it.
moon and back.
And you live with your parents and you leave that on your bed, your nightstand. Like
I
that's
think the parents know better. Like, don't walk in there.
that, or they're like, yeah, it's just a cool
It's a
dragon he got
statue.
somewhere.
He has a
Yeah.
statue in there of a dragon.
Yeah.
and his parents are like hella healthy. Like they're obviously as old as our parents or maybe even slightly older because I think they might have had kids late and they still do triathlons and they place in like the top 5. They don't just do them.
How old are your
They
parents?
place. My mom is
Oh, that's her twin. They're the same age.
Yeah.
right for sure. No, my mom's 28 and my dad is 50, 51 maybe.
Okay. What about how old are your parents?
I don't know, like 45 or something like that.
There's
I-
no way they're 45.
I stopped counting after 40. So
I was gonna say you're 27.
no, I think they're from 70 and 71.
Okay, and my parents are from 71 and 73.
Okay.
66. Both of them. They're born 9 days apart.
Are you proud of that?
No. I'm
And
just
Oh,
saying.
okay.
3 rooms.
Okay.
I was just saying because I said 66 and
3
you looked at
rooms
me
away
like,
from each
"And
other."
someone else?
My sister has the same birthday as my mom.
That's
Have I
wild.
told you that?
I think you've told me that, but like, no.
That's fucking cool. And of course now she has that perfect. Oh, I was the best birthday present you ever got, and I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Which
Whatever.
sister was it?
Alexis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh God. If
I
it
was like,
was
if it was
Charlie, she would talk about it every time I saw her because she already sends us TikToks about like the sibling whose birthday and initials are the password for everything. She's like, that's me.
That's Charlie?
That's me.
Okay, well now we know all the passwords.
I know. I'm like, good for you, bitch.
Yeah, next pod when Charlie's
for
on, I'm
you.
like, hey, what was your birth date exactly? Where were you born?
And it's weird to say because she was born after 2000. So I'm like,
Yeah, isn't
what?
she like 16? She's born in like 2004.
She was born in 2005. And I'm like, 2005? What? That shouldn't even be an
No,
age.
I think it's normal.
Shouldn't be a birthday. It is now, but because all of my friends were like in the 90s, we're used to 94, 95, 96.
Yeah, it's like when after 2021, all the bartenders, they literally just look for the one now.
Yeah, like they're
Well, like
just
now
so
they,
easy.
it goes back a little, like, well, only to 2001, but
But they
yeah.
can still, now it's just
Yeah, they're like,
a
oh, okay.
common rule. If you see a 1, you're good.
Yeah. If you
That's-
see a 1 and it looks real, they're good to go.
That's got to be cool.
Yeah.
Have you
Well,
ever
that's easy for people to make fake ones then.
Yeah.
have you ever
just
had a
99.
fake ID?
No. Never had a fake one. I only had real ones.
That were people that looked like you?
Yeah, I used my brother's one time.
That's smart. I was the oldest, so I didn't fucking have that.
Yeah, I had. Well, it was funny because we both, me and my friend, did it because we went on this. We went to Portland for a wedding. We were like, we just want to be able to like have some beers or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I remember we ordered like a couple of beers and some chicken or something at this bar, and we were like 20, so it was literally we were like 1 year out from being able.
Well, yeah, I wasn't imagining you as 14
Yeah.
because your
I
brother's
was
not that
12.
much older than you.
And I remember, I like put in the name for the order, and I used my brother's name.
Right.
And then my friend put in an order, showed him the ID, and then like he gave it back to him and whatnot. And then my friend turns around and he goes, "Hey, what was the name for like your order?" And then he used his real name, and I was instantly like, "Ugh." But I don't think the guy either like cared. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you ever have a fake ID?
No.
No.
No. I would have if I had known like how to get one or where to get one or how to
I had a
use
couple
it.
of friends who had a fake one. I never. That was the only time I had ever like used like my brother's ID.
But you had obviously had alcohol before that.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
ways
yeah,
for,
yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
ways for high schoolers to get alcohol
Like we were
without
able,
it.
yeah, but like we were going up into Portland, for
Right.
This, so it was
and you
like,
weren't going to know people there.
Yeah, I was like, and I
Yeah.
didn't want to like really like the people that we were gonna know there. They were all like older because it was like people we met basically from like Burning Man or like other like events like that.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to like if they wanted to go out and drink, we didn't want to be like, well, we can't.
Yeah.
So we were just like, this will
Yeah.
probably be like a little bit easier. God, what was it? I was about to say something else. Oh, one of my friends had like a Johnny Knoxville old person mask, like the one that went down to like your shoulders and stuff.
Right?
And we would just send him into liquor stores, and he would buy alcohol, and they would never.
And that
question
worked?
it. Yeah. When I say like a Johnny Knoxville,
I
old
guess
man,
I haven't seen it.
like a legitimate movie production quality.
Oh.
Yeah. But no one else could use it. He was black.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a black old man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
none of us. So none
yeah,
of
you
us-
can tell I
Yeah.
have no idea what fucking mask this is.
Yeah. So like our friend had it, but like no one else could use it because.
Right.
Yeah. So
That
we were
makes
like,
sense.
oh man, we gotta have him here if we're trying to like buy some or whatever.
How great would it be if he was like the Kenny of the group? Like y'all didn't even like him. You weren't really his friend. You were just like, hey, we need you to go in and get alcohol, and you can have half a beer. That's as always. You can have your half a beer. Juan, did you ever have a fake ID or use somebody else's ID?
No, because I don't look like anyone else. But I did have a fake ID for that same reason. So
You did have a fake ID?
So I used it for work purposes because they would
What a
only
nerd. What a nerd. I used it so I could get a job before 16.
Exactly. So I could work in the kitchen. But then there was times where I would use it when I would go out. If it was a place that was only 21 and over.
Right.
If
But
it was
you
a
wouldn't
place.
drink?
Yeah, to drink and everything.
Oh, okay, good.
Well,
I thought
like,
you were- but not to drink. I just really like the atmosphere.
As soon as they let you in, you don't need to use it inside.
Right.
Sometimes there was times where I'd have to pull it out.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, well, they
They're
let
like,
me in. Like,
Yeah.
So at like 15, you would sneak into bars.
no, I like 17, 18. It was one a little bit older.
Okay.
But I wasn't 21, so.
Right.
Yeah.
No, we know numbers. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, that's like
17
you can-
is not the same as 21.
I mean, you can just buy them online, like fake IDs.
Now,
No. When I was in
But-
high school, which is like what year did you graduate?
what?
What year did you graduate?
I'm 13.
Yeah. You were only a year ahead of me. When I was in high school, I can't remember what the website was, but like there were a ton of people that were like, yeah, you just order from this website and they'll mail it to you.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, no one ever told me.
Yeah, there was some spot I think in like Washington or something.
That's
'Cause it
fucking
had, like,
annoying.
It had return mail, and I was like, I don't think you should
Return mail?
Like,
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
if
in
you're
case-
gonna be
It was funny because it was like
offering this-
legit. It was like in case something's wrong on the thing that you said, you could send it back. And we'll send you.
That's insane, bro. Don't be advertising where you're doing this shit from. Do you think there's the same thing? Surely not for like fake passports.
I don't think that they would advertise and stuff like that. I think you gotta like know something.
You would have to know
You know what I
somebody.
mean? Yeah, you gotta like go to the butcher shop and be like, "Hey, I'm looking for some pig's feet," and he's like, "Okay," and then he goes in the back and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah."
Good thing we know Ben.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You're not paying attention. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool. So I wanted to play you this clip. It is from a true crime podcast. And I'll cut the audio out of the podcast because I don't want to like be using somebody else's audio. But I need you to listen to it because I found myself during times of listening to this like little section I'm about to play for you where I was laughing. And I was like, I need to know that surely I'm not the only one that's like, what the fuck? Like, this is just weird.
Yeah.
You don't need to say this.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll see. We'll see if you guys laugh at the same places I laughed.
It's just a little weird kind of how she like threw some, like I feel like she threw some extra descriptors in there. that
Right.
weren't
Like I'm like the
necessary.
attorney did not need to say attractive. Why do we give a fuck that she's attractive? If this is an ugly woman that's also dying, she still matters to us.
They're like, she's ugly, and the jury's like, he's good. It's fine.
Right. Like, so I don't know why you felt the need to let us know, oh, she's attractive. And then I also don't understand why you needed to, there was just so many,
I don't
many
understand.
details in there that I think he threw in to try to make it more powerful, but it just made me go,
I don't think like he really or she really understands how a catcher sits. Because that was my thing when she was like he put his knees on her chest like a catcher.
Right.
I was like, a catcher sits on his like calves, and they have the little like. So when you put on your like catcher's gear, you have the front.
Yeah.
That actually blocks your shins from getting hit by the ball or whatnot.
Yes.
And then on the back they have these pads. So when you sit in that position, you're still sitting more up rather than like actually on your calves.
oh, okay.
So like maybe she's saying like when he blocks a ball, because you're supposed to like drop to your knees and like. But like that one was, I was just kind of like,
What do you? Yeah,
analogy
yeah.
would be.
Like I could tell they were going for impact, but when it's just like punched her eyes, they were black. Punched her face, it was black. Punched her
I
teeth.
thought it was a poem.
Okay.
Shattered her. That's
Seriously,
yeah.
like
Sounds like a
it
poem.
literally sounded like they were just throwing in all these descriptors and all these extra lines to try to make it like moving, like a poem, but. Someone's being attacked. Can we just focus on the facts?
Yeah, can you just be like brutally attacked her, choked her,
raped her,
ripped
there
her
we
clothes
go.
off?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that's
Sexually
like,
assaulted. That's more polite.
Yeah.
But I was just, and when he was like, pull down her sports bra, exposing her breasts. And I was like,
it sounded like she was like
Okay.
reading off of like a novel.
right. And it was just like, until she could not fight anymore. And I was like,
She could not.
you're making this,
Maybe they were a public speaker. Or
you're
something.
making this hella dramatic. Not a good one.
Well,
Know your
well,
audience.
that's why they chose a new venture.
I was going to say, no,
And then it wasn't going to work out. Either.
know your audience. I'm glad I wasn't the only one. As soon as they said attractive, I was like, what the fuck? And you also made a face at attractive. So I was like, okay, thank you.
Because it's just like unnecessary.
It's unnecessary.
In
It
terms
doesn't
of-
matter that she was attractive. Whoever dies,
yeah, like it's a
sad.
violent crime.
Right.
Committed.
It
You
doesn't
don't
fucking
even
matter that they were attractive. It doesn't matter.
Like that'd be like if they were like, and she was beat this old bag. And you're like, what the hell?
This old hag
Yeah.
that was nicknamed the Witch of the Street.
This wrinkly ass nice lady.
Okay, well, I'm glad it's not just me. I was like, this is a little unnecessary.
It was just kind of, I don't know.
was weird.
It kind of sounded like a poem.
It just sounded like
Yeah.
a story.
Some like I don't know. It didn't sound genuine.
No, it didn't.
And I
It
think that's kinda
definitely
where, like,
sounded
she fell
rehearsed.
flat.
And I'm like, this is
Which like I get, you have to like rehearse it, but like you gotta,
Right.
you got to put some oomph in there too, and also
Yeah.
probably just pick some better words.
right.
Yeah.
I feel like the umph that they were going for was
They
just
didn't practice
loudness.
beforehand. Though.
Yeah, they just wrote it.
Yeah.
They didn't practice reading it.
They did it on the spot.
They didn't read it out loud. You know, when you read things out loud.
Yeah, it changes how it sounds.
Damn, that's kind of wild.
But anyways, yeah, brutally attacked. It was sad, but
Oh, see, that's better.
I laughed.
Yeah,
They should have paraphrased it.
yeah, brutally attacked and sexually assaulted.
Yes, and murdered. That
Yeah.
was it.
She was a mile from her house.
Because you know what's going to get the jury, like what's really going to tug at their heartstrings are the photos that you show,
The evidence.
the autopsy,
Like, she could have paraphrased
his
it.
recording of his confession.
Yeah. She could have just paraphrased it and been like, this happened close to her home, not even a mile away.
Right.
While she was jogging.
Right.
This man who was much bigger than her. You don't need to be like 9 to 10 inches taller, 40 to 50 pounds heavier. If you say a man is bigger than a woman, we automatically assume it's like a significant
Right.
difference. Or at least like, I do. If they're like, oh, it was this woman and then there was this guy who was much bigger than her, I automatically picture like fucking The Rock.
Also,
Right.
You know what I mean?
what kind of smaller guy would attack a bigger person?
Yeah.
Right. Like we automatically assumed, especially since he killed her physically and not just like with a gun. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
he
he's
was
probably a
bigger.
big, burly
that
dude.
makes sense.
Yeah.
We fucking were expecting that.
Yeah, and then just been like ripped her clothes off in broad daylight, sexually assaulted her, and then strangled her to death. I feel like literally what I just said right there probably had more.
That's more
It
meaningful.
took some corn.
yeah.
Like already I'm like, wow, I hate this bastard. But there, I'm so distracted by what the attorney's saying that
Yeah,
I'm
you're
like,
like, what
this
the
is, I don't know who did what, but you shouldn't be an author. I don't know. But okay, as long as it wasn't just me.